None shall pass Aesop rock.
For Anarchy 99.
Anarchy 99. This is an alliance with probably the coolest name among the alliance halls. Do you think there's an alliance with a cooler name?
Oh, this is Silver is the leader. It was Zonia for a while, but Zonia is taking a hiatus.
So who's the so Anarchy 99? I think they're the best. I think they have the best name. I think
quite possibly.
They quite possibly have the greatest name. Okay, what is an alliance? Tell the beautiful people what an alliance is.
A group of people that get together on Patreon. Well, Patreon is is the starting point. It's $1 to get into Patreon, and then you get onto Discord and stuff. And there's a bunch of groups, and those groups influence our song list. So Anarchy 99 is one of the alliances, and they picked this song, and that's why we're reacting to it.
Now, if you're a filthy capitalist and you don't want to work with an alliance and tell the people what they
then the way to do that is you jump on the 125 tier, or you can go through PayPal. Links are in the description.
VinandSoriMerch@gmail.com.
You request whatever song you want, which is why sometimes we end up doing a K-pop song. K-cup is what you use for your coffee.
Shout out to the homie Revo.
Yeah. So, there's a couple different ways of getting that done for you. So if you do that with us 3 times, on your 4th time, you get like a bump down to the $75 price instead. So we've got a couple of regulars, and those are our OGs that work it out with us that way, and they get rewarded.
Handsomely!
Yep.
Handsomely!
Anyway, that's 50% off. Holy crap, that's a pretty good coupon.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Is that 50% off? No, it's not 50, it's
not filthy Sori's idea.
It's not no, it wasn't my idea. Not at all.
So Sori would charge you guys $1,000.
I would stay at that price. No grandfathers here. Okay, anyway, so we're going to listen to this song, and we will let you know what we think. We are Metalheads, and I hear this is what, rap?
Yeah.
So...
Although I did have a hip hop background, but then I've converted to being a metalhead. So there you go.
All right,
maybe I should do hip hopper and whatever react. Anyway, none shall pass. Let's do it. I like the beat.
Zeitgeist with by the watering hole, water patrol, water we the heart, how could be art buckery suddenly? Not enough young and his lung for the water wing, colorfully vulgar poacher at a mulch like I'm a put a post at a soldier and bolt. Sign of the time we elapse when a primate climb up a spine and attach. Eye for an eye by the bog life, swamps and vines to get a rise out of frogs and flies. So when a dog fights hog-tied prize, sort of cost of life, the mouse water on a fork and knife, and the allure isn't right. No score on a war-torn beach where the cash cows actually beef. Blood turns wine when a leak for police like that's not a riot, it's a feast. And I will remember your name and face on the day you were judged by the funhouse cast. And I will rejoice in your fall from grace when I came to the sky like none shall pass.
I like this guy.
I like the sound.
I like this guy.
What it means.
None shall pass. None shall pass. We never had a day of snow cone. Could have Bixie when it relates to the robo. Could have blitz how we spoke to a no-dose. Butter on the fritz cause he wouldn't play a role or fetch like a bitch. And express no regrets though he gets somewhere the homeowner's pissed to the jokers who pose by the glitz. Sign of the swine and the swarm when a king is a whore who comply and conform. Miles outside of the eye of the storm with a siphon of lore at a prize and award while avoiding the violent bazaar that is violence and war. True blue triumph is more like wait, let him snake up out of the centerfold. Let him break the walls of Jericho. Ready go. Sat where the old cardboard city folks swap tails with heads like every other penny. And I will remember your name and face on the day you were judged by the funhouse cast. And I will rejoice in your fall from grace when I came to the sky like none shall pass.
I'm trying to help.
Okay, woke to a grocery list. Goes like this, duty and death. Anyone object, come stand in the way. You could be my little snake river canyon million today, and I ran with a chain of commands and a jetpack strap with a backstab lands if I can. Sign of the vibe in the crowd when I cut a belly open to find what climb out. What a bit of gusto we must erupt to make a dark horse rush like enough's enough. It must have struck a nerve so they huff and puff. The Lord of Kings men fluster and clusterfuck, and it's a beautiful thing. Tell my people to keep an impressive wingspan, even when the cubicle shrink. You gotta pull up the intruder by the root of the weed and march you through the machine. And I will remember your name and face on the day you were judged by the funhouse cast. And I will rejoice in your fall from grace when I came to the skyline. None shall pass. None shall pass. None shall pass.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help.
Had a cool, smooth beat to it. I have no idea what we were talking about.
It's funny the Tom McDonald people, they're like, Tom McDonald's the greatest of all time. I was like, I am a better rapper than Tom McDonald. This guy is a rapper. Like, this is like the stuff that I'm used to. Like, lyrical, very tight rhyme schemes.
You hear that?
A lot of double and triple entendres.
That's all the people unsubscribing now.
Et cetera, et cetera. I don't care. Like, this is actual, like, I'm not saying that the other guy isn't a rapper,
Well,
but like,
listen.
he's not like, this stuff right here is stuff where it's like, oh, you would not have heard this at the table at my lunchroom.
I'm white,
at
obviously.
Truman High School.
I don't have a history in hip hop. I barely listen to that stuff.
This guy's
when
white
I
too, though.
can listen to something, I listen to Tom McDonald. I like his stuff, and I understand it. This stuff I don't understand.
Right. Because you did.
Sorry.
No,
It's
but
the truth.
No, but that's my point, and that's why I think Tom McDonald is so smart, because he understands that, you know, there's a lot of people like you
that want to be
that
part of
want to
it.
be down.
I'm like, I get this,
but don't really have the time to like really sit and appreciate the intricate rhyme schemes and all that. No, it's not bad. It's just when I hear somebody say that Tom McDonald's a GOAT, it's like, and people were saying, "Oh, it's because he's white." No, it's not because he's white.
No, I think it more speaks to the person saying it.
I think Eminem. You could make. Well, I think the issue with Eminem and the GOAT conversation is that his last couple records have been kind of
controversial.
Well, no, not controversial. It's just not very. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's the longevity. When you're talking about the GOAT, you know, it's like Tom Brady is able to still win titles at 43. Jay-Z is still able to make hit songs.
Yeah.
Eminem really hasn't had a hit in a while, you know. And honestly, I think Tom McDonald is actually the new Eminem, the white rapper who's saying. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree. I think so.
He's saying stuff that's controversial, but he's also speaking for a group of people who feel disenfranchised, which is amazing. So,
but the thing is,
so from that perspective, he's doing great. But this guy's an actual
Eminem
rapper.
Does emotional stuff. Like, I haven't heard a bunch of his stuff, but I've heard some of his stuff, and some of the songs that I've heard of his are like emotional. Where Tom McDonald, I haven't heard any emotional. It's all political.
Well, the political stuff is emotional for a lot of people.
Yeah, but I mean,
so you can't discount that because he's not whining about his dad or something like that.
Well, yeah, I'm not discounting it. I'm saying that I think that you need to have both in your repertoire, because I think that people want to. I don't think people only want to hear about politics. I think that people want to hear about your sad story with your dad or something that they can relate to on a human level.
Yeah, but as far as a person like who like grew up with hip hop, which I did, like this is a guy who I'm like, oh yeah, he definitely, if he was at the lunch table at Truman High School, he would like people would be like, yo, that guy, he's got it, he's nice. Whereas there's and it's not just Tom McDonald, by the way. Like the recent, like I love the Chicago drill scene, but none of those guys, well, except for Montana. Montana 300 is an actual rapper where we'd be like, oh my god, this guy. But like none of the new guys in Chicago. I mean, I love it. Like, you know, FBG Duck, rest in peace. Vaughn, rest in peace. Like, they're all good rappers, but like at the lunch table, they'd just be regular substandard type of. But this guy, this guy, if you saw him in the lunchroom, you'd be like, holy shit. First of all, half the people there would be like, what's zeitgeist? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, the guy, he's got a really good vocabulary. His rhyme schemes are crazy. This guy's a badass. He's really, really good. He's...
Apparently.
This song, lyrically, is better than anything I've heard all of 2021. And I still listen to a lot of rap on the side.
Wow, okay.
But, you know... And some of that has to do with the fact that modern rap isn't really about lyricism anymore. In the 90s, it was about lyrics and how complex you could have it in your rhyme scheme. It's not about that.
What is it now?
Anymore.
Just beat?
I don't know. I think it's more of about like saying that you're popping pills and whatever. Like, it's not really and I'm not saying it's bad or good. You know, a lot of people say it's bad or good. Like, I'm just saying, like, as for what I'm used to with hip hop, this guy is really, really good. And he wasn't really relying on the beat. The beat was okay. The beat was kind of pedestrian, but he made the song so good, just the way that he was and what he was rapping about. He's smooth as hell. Flash that buttery gold, jittery zeitgeist, withered by the watering hole, water patrol.
I thought the buttery gold had something to do with money, was it? It was a guess.
Yeah, it might be. Flash that buttery gold, jittery zeitgeist, withered by the watering hole, water patrol. That's a good one.
I don't understand any of it. Can you just explain this?
Withered by the watering hole, water patrol. You know, like
water patrol, water patrol.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just a, you know.
Yeah.
What are we to see? What are we to Heart Huckabee at Art Fuckery suddenly? Heart Huckabee, I'm assuming, is Michael Huckabee.
I have no idea, babe. I literally don't. I didn't get anything.
The far right guy. Art Fuckery, suddenly not enough young in his lung for the water wings. Colorfully vulgar poacher out of much like I'ma pull the pulse out of soldier and this guy. Fine sign of the time we allows when a primate climb up a spine and attach. Eye for an eye by the bog-lie swamps and vines, they get a rise out of frogs and flies. So when a dog fights hog-tied prize, sort of costs a life, the mouth's water on a fork and a knife. So it looks right here that they're talking about people dying on TV, and they don't really care about the loss of life. Their mouth's water on a fork and knife. They're just going to consume it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when a dog fights hog-tied prize, sort of costs a life, the mouth's water on a fork and knife.
Oh.
And the allure isn't right. No score on a war-torn beach where the cash cow's actually beef.
Oh, good job.
See that? Blood turns wine when it leaks for police. Like, that's not a riot, it's a feast, let's eat.
Blood turns wine. Oh, wow. So they're feasting off the police?
Well, I think
like,
it's...
even like, doesn't matter where it is. Like, people are just, like, feasting off of the death of people.
Well, I think it's more
Whether
like...
it's...
Yeah, I think like when a riot happens or something crazy pops off. This was out in 2007. I'm not sure there was much unrest in 2007. Maybe he was predicting some unrest. But basically, when people love conflict, and it's funny because there's actually a hip-hop series called Beef, where it's talking about all these rap beefs.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, dudes end up dead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's making you a lot of money. Like, beef is one of the number one things that makes money in rap.
Or anything.
And
that's why they like conflict in those shows.
Yeah, but it doesn't really work with metal. Like...
No. I'm saying like reality
it's
TV
specific,
shows and stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
Specifically with rap. And a lot of it is because black folks are so self-destructive and we don't know how to, like, play the game and make money. It always crosses over into like real street shit because these kids, they're street guys. So, you know, like you're making money off of beef, but at the same time, like people end up dead for it. But it's the record label loves it because it generates a bunch of revenue, and on TV, and the consumers love it too because they love the conflict and all the rest of it. Well, we're not benefiting; we're paying for it. Like, oh, you know, like. You know, when Duck and Vaughn were beefing, they both like made themselves.
No, I know.
More
I'm saying
popular.
I wouldn't want to be the record label benefiting off of people's deaths.
Those people don't care, bro. Like, what do you mean? It's just like now with like sweatshops. Like nobody wants to benefit from a sweatshop.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Gonna do it.
So there was this game. Sayla was like, "Hey, can I play this jail game?" And I guess you
jail game?
Yeah. And she was like, I was like, well, what happened? She was like, well, it's actually pretty cool. She's like, you buy jails and like you can make money off of the jails. I was like, what kind of game is this? I'm like, well, you know, actually that's pretty terrible.
Well, I mean, that's America. There you go. Trading the next
and
generation
it was like,
of oppressors.
She's like, I can either upgrade my jail to make it like a better environment for the people, or I can just add more cells, which will make me more money. I'm like, what?
There you go. There you go. I mean, what can you do? I mean, that's America. But I also think it's talking about it. So I think it's talking about rap beefs, but I also think it's talking about like going to war with the police. And then the police's version of like a riot or a civil rights struggle where they go, that's not a riot, it's a feast, let's eat.
Yeah.
So a riot and all this other shit gives the police an excuse to go. Remember that guy during the whole George Floyd situation where he was like, I can't wait for martial law so we can slaughter all the niggers?
Yes.
But the guy was like, I'm not a racist.
Yeah. That was on the. He didn't realize that they were gonna view those tapes. Honestly, I think he knew that those were running. Those tapes are running, but I think that it's so few and far between that those tapes are actually looked into that they completely forgot they were there. So I think he was like, I'm not a racist, totally forgetting that stuff could be.
No. He was saying he wasn't a racist in response to the fact that his video got exposed. He was saying, oh no, I'm not a racist. It's just I'm having a very hard time with the riots, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Blood turns to wine when it leaks for police. Like, that's not a riot, it's a feast, let's eat. Yeah, I really think that's how they
What's
they
the
look.
Funhouse cast?
And I will remember your name and face on the day that you are judged by the Funhouse cast, and I will rejoice in your fall from grace with a cane in the sky like none shall pass.
Is that like a show or something?
No, I just think like a Funhouse is like it's almost like a
the Funhouse cast. Look,
it's almost like a clown show. Like, I didn't look at it as like the specific cast of Funhouse as much as I looked at it as like a Funhouse is a clown show. They're not like serious people. Mm-hmm. But here you are as an artist being judged by people who don't have any. They don't have any like, you know. Mm-hmm. Because especially with rappers, like their skill set is so specific. It's like the people judging them have no. It's like Simon Cowell, like you can't sing, and yet here you are sitting in judgment over the singers. Now, obviously, you know Simon Cowell, you know, has earned his stripes or whatever. But I just interpreted it that way. I'll remember your name and face on the day you were judged by the Funhouse cast, and I will rejoice in your fall from grace with a cane to the sky like none shall pass. So to me, that's about like how the music industry. It's run by a bunch of clowns, basically, who don't really know what art is. And then the artist then has pressure to perform, basically, for these clowns. And you're an artist. It's like I said, like, they were asking me in the fireside, what are the greatest rap verses or rap songs or whatever. I said, well, One Mic is the greatest rap song of all time. Mm-hmm. And the second greatest rap song of all time is a song that I wrote, that I'm not going to release, and everybody was laughing. It was like a big joke, but like I truly believe that. Like I truly believe it's the second best song of all time.
Oh, it is really good though. I mean, I haven't heard a bunch of rap, but I think it's definitely.
So like, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to release it to public.
Right.
But like, you know, it's like these people are laughing, and to me, I'm like, well, what do you know about it? Mm-hmm. Like I've been in the culture all my life. What do you know about it? Like, please, you know what I mean? But like. But
Well,
if
I
you're
feel
trying
like
to get
there's-
famous,
Right.
and especially in 2007, like now people are becoming like, you put your stuff on SoundCloud, and if it gets a million spins, you're going to get a record deal. Like, period. Like, but it wasn't like that when he was coming up. When he was coming up, it was a traditional. You had to get your tape in front of a person, and
Yep.
you had to go and you had to perform in front of these people.
You might only get your one opportunity.
In this
too.
corporate
Yeah.
office. You're performing your rap stuff in a corporate office, which, like, these guys are, like,
I know,
you
yeah,
do it
yeah,
on the
yeah,
street, now you're in this corporate office with all these people in coats and shit. It's like, who are you guys to judge the quality? And so he's saying, like, basically to sell out artists, like, I'll remember your name and face on the day you were judged by the Funhouse cast. Like, you went through their little hoops, but then there's gonna be another flavor of the week, and then you're gonna fall from grace. And I will rejoice in your fall from grace with the king to the sky like none shall pass, which that's the, what do you call it? Isn't that, that's Lord of the Rings, right? With the...
Does it say none shall pass?
Wasn't that Lord? Wasn't that the
You
dude?
shall not pass. I
Yeah.
don't think it says none shall pass.
I think that's actually, it looks like that's a Monty Python little thing there. Okay, so that's
I
different.
mean, I'm
right?
sure that none shall pass is like a.
Yeah, so that's a Monty
Right.
Python thing.
I mean, with a cane to the sky, like.
The Black Knight moves slightly to block Arthur and declares none shall pass. King Arthur, in a conciliatory manner, asserts his right to cross, but the Black Knight says Arthur will die. Arthur orders the Black Knight to move, but he says, I move for no man. Reluctantly, King Arthur fights the Black Knight, and after a short battle, the knight's left arm is severed, which skirts out copious amounts of blood. I gotta watch Monty Python. Everybody was saying that Monty Python is really
Oh,
hilarious.
I think that you would get a huge kick out of it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that
Okay,
there's
so it's
that
You
pressure.
Shall Not Pass is the Lord of the Rings
You
guy.
shall not. I think so. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
I think that there's that sort of pressure when there's anything that you're trying to do. I think that, if you're easily influenced by what other people say, then it is going to influence you. For instance, when we first started the channel, there was a lot of opinions. A lot of
there's
opinions
still a
of
lot
what
of
we should be
opinions.
doing. Yeah, but we don't... Like, at first, I was like, oh, maybe we should listen to that. Like, when we first started, my one opinion was we got to keep them short. We got to be in and out because of, like, how the culture is.
Yeah.
And, like, I think at first, like, you were trying to acquiesce to that request, but you just can't. Like, you have so much to say. There's just so
Yeah.
much there. And so, like, it wasn't happening, and each review was, like, 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm like, people are not going to want to watch our channel. Well, then it was interesting because it was a flip, and like people actually were like, wow, in this culture where everything's so fast and not like you guys are so authentic. So it was like people loved it, but not everybody loved it. Some people were like, wow, like, are you serious? Like a friggin' 45-minute review? Like, shorten them up and I'll subscribe. Like, there's this idea, this opinion that other people can tell you what to do with your own thing when they haven't even done it themselves.
Well,
it's such an odd thing.
One was you can't talk about politics. Stop talking about politics.
Don't talk about your religion.
People would say, I like you. Stop talking about your religion. Then it was, I said something positive about Trump. If you do that again, I'll unsubscribe. And I was like...
They told us to shorten our videos.
I was like, what? It
Yeah.
was easy for us to say, man, get the fuck out. It's easy for us to say that because this wasn't my primary source of income.
No, yeah.
It was just something we were doing as a hobby. But that's completely different from, like...
You're trying to make it big with your music.
All your life you're trying to make it big
That's your
and blah, blah,
dream.
blah. And then you get in front of
Yeah, a
these people.
YouTube channel wasn't our dream. It never even came into our minds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course people are gonna,
Kind of just fell into it. It's kind of...
they're gonna sell out whatever people want to call it, selling out or whatever. Like, of course people are gonna do that if their entire livelihood is on it. But, there are some artists, and it's very rare that they stay true to themselves and still remain very, very successful.
Yeah.
I'm assuming like
Yeah.
he's one of them. Which is probably one of the reasons why he's got to be a very, very big rapper if he made it to this channel. Because that means metalheads know who he is.
Yeah. I'm going to look up, see how many views it has.
And express
Anyway.
no regrets, so he's not worth a homeowner's piss to the jokers who pose by the glitz. Fine. Sign of the swine in the swarm when a king is a whore who complies and conforms. Wow. Miles outside of the eye of the storm with a siphon to lure out a prize
look,
of
there
war.
was an official video. I'm just gonna put that on silent so we can watch it without
Was it cartoons?
getting blocked. Yeah, but it it had 10 million views.
Yeah.
I can get it. I do know how to skip ads. But anyway, we should have had this playing in the background so we could have seen where this is gonna go.
I think, did the person send us the official video?
No, they didn't send us the official. They sent us the lyric because stuff gets blocked. You know.
He's like flying in a skull in New York City.
And they're wolves. That's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, it would have been fun to watch the video for sure. Fine sign of the slime in the swarm when a king is a whore who complies and conforms, miles outside of the eye of the storm with a siphon to lure and a prize and award. While avoiding the violent bazaar that is violence and war, true blue triumph is more. Like, wait, let him snake up out of the centerfold. Let it break the walls of Jericho. Ready, go. Sat where the old cardboard city folk swat tails with heads like every other penny throw. Okay, so this to me is talking about like the sellout rapper. This is actually directly addressing the sellout rapper. It looks to me. Now, if you ever had a day of snow cone couldn't fix, you wouldn't relate to the rogue vocoder blitz. How he spoke through a no-dose motor on the fritz, cause he wouldn't play rollover fetch like a bitch. That's a smart line. Cause he wouldn't play rollover fetch like a bitch.
Oh yeah, female dog. Yeah, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Smart.
I see what you did there.
And express no regret, express no regret. No, actually,
this is the music industry.
This is not a sellout rapper. Well, no, the cop thing wasn't about.
Right.
This is not a sellout rapper. This is a rapper who wouldn't sell out. Maybe he's talking about himself here. So if you've ever had a day a snow cone couldn't fix, you wouldn't relate to the rogue vocoder blitz. How he spoke through a no-dose motor on the fritz, cause he wouldn't play rollover fetch like a bitch. And express no regrets, though he isn't worth a homeowner's piss to the jokers who pose by the glitz. Fine, sign of the swine in the swarm when a king is a whore who complies and conforms. Okay, so the first couple lines are about a guy who's staying true to himself, right? Mm-hmm. He won't roll over like a bitch, and he won't express any regrets, though he isn't worth a homeowner's piss. Meaning this is a poor struggling artist. Mm-hmm. He isn't worth anything to the jokers who pose by the glitz. So these are the superficial, Hollywood.
What's the glitz?
Glitz and glamour, yada yada yada. So so this guy is staying true to his art, but people who are glitzy and glamorous or whatever, he doesn't mean anything to them. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing is fine, sign of the swine in the swarms, a horde of pigs or whatever. When a king is a whore who complies and conforms, miles outside of the eye of the storm, with a siphon to lure out a prize and award. I feel like he's talking about Jay-Z there.
Oh, really?
Well, that's the perception that a lot of folks have of Jay-Z. Is that he's a guy that started out as like a real rugged street dude, and then he's doing stuff. Yeah. He's doing stuff with Oprah.
Yeah.
Or like the whole.
Yeah, but I just feel like that. People have all these opinions about people selling out by going big time, but if you stop and think about it, you're doing this for your family, so it's or your future. Why would anybody say, you know what? I'm just not going to take that. If you can make it bigger and have better, why would he live in the slum when he can live in a palace? Why would he do that?
Yeah,
Because you're gonna judge him?
Yeah,
you wouldn't do that.
Most rappers don't live where they're from, but a guy like 50 Cent is a multimillionaire who lives in the suburbs of New Jersey. He doesn't live in Queens where he got shot 9 times. Right. But I think in hip-hop, especially the hip-hop that I'm from, Jay-Z is a guy who's completely almost separated himself from the hood. Mm-hmm. He's now part of them. He's one of them. He goes to Oprah. He's at all these things. He didn't do well in the Cap thing in our opinion. He's just it's almost like he doesn't identify with us anymore. He identifies with those people in his class. Mm-hmm. I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. I don't think it's morally wrong. But as far as your credibility as a rapper, it's good. He's in a different stratosphere now. He's still looked upon as the greatest or whatever, but he could never come out with another, like, he couldn't come out with like a Where I'm From Part 2, you know, cough up along where I'm from, Marcy, son, ain't none. Like, he's not that guy anymore. And, you know, most rappers, you can make the argument that Jay is actually more real than most of these rappers, because none of these, to your point, most rappers are not where Jay-Z are, but if you're kind of a famous, like J. Cole, but the thing about J. Cole, like, he was never really a street dude. He never, like, presented himself as a street dude. But you could say, well, Jay-Z's actually being real because he's rapping about what he's about now. So he's talking about these $5 million paintings in his house and all the rest of it. Like, you can't relate to it, but he's telling the truth. What's he supposed to do? And like, that resonates with me to a degree, although, like, the way that he was in the whole Kaepernick situation, I was not a fan of at all. You know, he basically, he signed this deal with Roger Goodell in the NFL, and they gave him millions of dollars, and so, like, it was a very smart and strategic move by Goodell, but it made everybody kind of look at Jay like, okay, like, you sold out the movement because Roger Goodell gave you this multi-million-dollar deal. Yeah. And it's that stuff where it's like, when he talks about, like, when a king is a whore who complies and conforms miles outside of the eye of the storm. Like, He went and support, but this should happen well after this song came out. So he couldn't be talking about Jay. But to me, it fits. It fits Jay-Z, because Jay is now like the poster board for, you know, corporatism in hip hop. Like, he's, you know.
I mean, I don't think you should sell out the movement. Like, if I was making money and people want to give their opinions about what I should and shouldn't do, fine. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to do my thing. Unless I think you have a good idea. But, I mean, if to make a bunch of money I had to sell out women, or like the Me Too movement or something like that, I wouldn't do that. That's I wouldn't. I'm not doing that. That's not worth the money to me. No way.
Yeah, but I also think that Jay-Z is also mixing with people who are not like the people he was advocating for. And so I don't think he's looking at it as selling out. I don't think he's looking at it as selling out, because he's in those circles with those people.
Yeah, but come on.
And they have a view of the world that's different from Jay-Z's view of the world.
Yeah, but you can't forget where you came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I got surrounded by a world where they were saying, oh no, women are really not mistreated. Like, the Me Too movement was just a bunch of women lying. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, he's been black all of his life, and he must have seen some unjust things happen and see why Kaepernick knelt when he did. You know what I mean? Like, don't lose where you came from. Like, I think that, you shoot for the stars and go up there, but don't forget your roots.
Yeah, and that's one way of looking at it. Right, is that he forgot his roots, he forgot where he came from. But, you know, I look at it like Roger Goodell is brilliant. Having a guy like Jay-Z on his side is a good strategic move. And Jay was like, you know, he's not saying that the cops are great and blah, 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 and there isn't systemic racism. It's just what Cap was doing. He was like, okay, like, Cap's thing was to bring attention to the situation. He did. Great. So that's the way he looks at it. And the rest of us are like, yeah, he brought attention to the situation, but you could actually do something to, you know, and this is the reason why we've never really been able to do much in this country.
Cap did what he could do from where he was at.
Correct.
You got to do something different from where you're at.
Right. So that's how I feel about Jay. That's how a lot of us feel about Jay. Yeah. But I'm not, but at the same time, like, I'm not mad at him, because if he really, really believes what he said in that whole little town hall thing that he did, then what can you do? That's what he really believes. So, okay. Okay, woke to
Educate
a grocery.
Yourself.
Okay, woke to a grocery list. Goes like this: duty and death. Anyone object? Come stand in the way. You could be my little Snake River Canyon today. And I ran with a chain of commands and a jetpack strapped with a back. Man, this guy, I love. This is my favorite part of rap, is that rhythmic type of rap that, like, I love that. And it's something that really, like, Mace was the best. Mace was the best at that. He was the absolute best at that. But that, like, once Mace, like, basically retired, that style kind of went away. But I love that. Okay, woke to a grocery list. Goes like this: duty and death. Anyone object? Come stand in the way. You could be my little Snake River Canyon today. And I ran with a chain of commands and a jetpack strapped with the backstrap lands if it can. Like, yes. Fine sign of the vibe in the crowd when I cut your belly open to find what climb out. That's quite a bit of gusto he mustered up to make a dark horse rush like enough's enough. It must have struck a nerve, so they huff and puff till all the king's men fluster and clusterfuck. And it's a beautiful thing to my people who keep an impressive wingspan, even when the cubicles shrink. That's good. So it's like it's like he's rapping
That's good.
for.
I like that.
Yeah, you got to pull up the intruder by the root of the weed. NY chew through the machine. NY chew C NYC chew through the machine.
Ah, nice.
I'm telling you, this guy is nice, man. He's a badass. He's really, really good. I think that's him
really
saying he's never going to be one of those people. He's going to rap for the common man, I think.
With rappers, like if you don't know somebody who raps, you probably wouldn't know this. But one thing that's really interesting, he'll like bust out these raps. Like it doesn't necessarily take a long time. It can be like all of a sudden there's just like this of inspiration, and the rap comes out, and he's like got it. And then like it's crazy because on purpose he'll do like doubles and triples, but then there are like after the song's he's been going through it for like multiple times, all of a sudden he'll be like yeah, and he'll like recognize a spot where like that NY chew, like obviously NYC is in there, like he probably did it on purpose, but there'll be stuff like that where it's all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that there was layers to something. And it's weird because
there's levels to this shit.
Yeah, it's just interesting because the mind is more complex than you realize that it is, because your mind pieced that together even though like you didn't. It's weird. I know it sounds really weird. Yeah, you're subconscious. So
yeah, no, it really is.
Anyway. So what do you give it?
It took me years, like the Bone and Biggie. He said, what you gonna do, fight or run? Seems to me that you'll take B. That took me like a decade to figure out what he was saying. What you gonna do, fight or run?
A or B.
That's A or B.
Yeah.
Seems to me that you'll take B. But then the next line is Bone and Big, nigga, die so Lee. So B.
B is gonna get you the.
If you take B, you're gonna run, but you're gonna end up with Bone and Big. See?
And you're gonna die slowly.
So either way, you're gonna lose. What you gonna do? Fight or run? Seems to me that you'll take B, bump in, and that's only like that shit is crazy. Like that took me, I don't know, a decade. I was like, oh shit, that's what he was saying. Holy moly! Same thing happens when I listen.
I'm like, if I could just catch one thing in this rap, one thing that makes sense.
Same thing that happens when I listen to Big Pun, man. Big Pun is crazy. He was insane. But I really like this guy. This guy can rap his ass off. Holy shit. And he's better than pretty much everybody I'm listening to right now. So hopefully we'll get more requests from Aesop Rocky, because I know none of the black rappers are ever going to end up on here. Except for Ice-T, because he's in the pink.
Oh, he's white. I didn't know that.
Who?
This rapper.
Aesop? What do you mean?
I don't know anything about him.
You just saw the video. There he is right there.
Oh, I saw the face that was going in that video. I didn't know it was him. I thought it was like, I don't know. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, but the guy, he can rap his ass off.
Yeah, he really
Holy
can.
Shit, this guy he's a badass. I really like him. I hope we get more. I hope there's more.
What do you give it?
I haven't heard of this to me is like an old school hip hop, so I'm gonna have to give it a 10, man, because lyrically, like,
yeah, I mean, I didn't get it lyrically until you had to break it all down.
That means he's good. That means he's really, really
9
good.
for me.
Yeah. No, this guy's really good. I really like him a lot. I hope there's more. Shout out to Aesop, what's his name? Aesop Rock? Shout out to Aesop Rock. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.
Villagers, the NCAA college basketball tournament is right around the corner. We're doing a March Madness contest for our village to raise funds for other villagers in need. It only costs $1 to participate, and you'll have the option, if you want to donate a little extra. The way it works is you go to ESPN.com and fill out a bracket with the teams that you think are likely to win each game. Whoever wins our contest will get to pick a song for Vin and Sori to react to. So that song you've always wanted them to do, you can now get it done for as little as $1 if you win the contest. There will be a link in the description to this website that will take you to a PayPal site. From there, you make your donation and you'll get an email back with instructions on where to join the group and the password so that you can join. Now, if you're asking, I'm not a big college basketball junkie, I don't know what's going to happen, that's okay. There's all kinds of information on the website that will show you what the experts are predicting, statistics on each team, and even trends as far as what everybody else is voting on. So you'll fill out your bracket. You can start doing that on March 14th, and you'll have until the games begin on the 19th to complete your bracket. You can join the group at any time, but those are the dates that you can actually fill your bracket out. If you have any questions, send those to vinandsorimarchmadness@gmail.com, and I look forward to seeing you guys there.